सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पाद शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः। ॐ सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। Someone wants to try after me, or let me chant the verses. अथ तृतीयोऽध्यायः कर्मयोगः। अर्जुन उवाच जायसि चेत् कर्मणस्ते मता बुद्धिर्जनार्दन तत् किं कर्मणि घोरे मां नियोजयसि केशव। व्यामिश्रेणेव वाक्येन बुद्धिं मोहयसीव मे तदेकं वद निश्चित्य येन श्रेयोऽहमाप्नुयाम्। श्रीभगवानुवाच लोकेऽस्मिन् द्विविधा निष्ठा पुरा प्रोक्ता मया नघ ज्ञानयोगेन साङ्ख्यानां कर्मयोगेन योगिनाम्। न कर्मणामनारम्भात् नैष्कर्म्यं पुरुषोऽश्नुते न च सन्न्यसनादेव सिद्धिं समधिगच्छति। So here we are. Chapter 3 is an explanation on Arjuna's question, because the chapter contained knowledge on Gnana Yoga and also on Karma Yoga and also on the established state of Gnana Yoga, of a Gnani. Since the three topics were covered, it is likely that on first hearing or just listening, one may miss the subtler point or the essential point. The capacity to pick up an essential point is possible when one's mind is peaceful, objective, and listening to the words unbiased and fresh, relaxed. You will pick up maximum then. But Arjun was already in a state of emotional turmoil. So when Bhagwan said these things, he also said to Arjun from the standpoint of Atma, from the standpoint of Anatma, from the standpoint of Arjun's own personal duties, that Arjun should get up and perform his duties. The subtle point that Bhagwan had mentioned was not just that he should get up and perform his duties. Bhagwan was actually telling him that performing his duties in a mindset, with a mindset, a specific orientation, a specific mind set with specific understanding, growing the mind, expanding the mind, maturing the mind, seeing things as they are, then fixing oneself without karta bhav, with complete sense of dedication to what you are supposed to do in your dharma, and without worrying about the outcome of your performance of your duty. Do not get hung upon that. Do not let your mind dwell on it. What will be the outcome of my performance of my duty? So that aspect was a little new to Arjun, probably. As a result of which, what he would presume, any one of us would presume, that Bhagwan is telling me to act. हमारा मन शायद उतने में रुक जाए, क्योंकि अगर टर्मोइल है, put yourself in Arjun's condition, if there's an emotional turmoil, and वैसे भी when we are emotionally disturbed and if somebody gives us too many words of advice, we only pick up what we want to hear. We tend to, not be able to focus on everything objectively. So Arjun somewhere got the impression that Bhagwan is asking him to do karma, whereas he says that Gnana Yoga, Atma Gyan, is directly the means for Shreyas, and Shreyas here means moksha. उद्धार कल्याण तो तुम्हारा डायरेक्टली आत्मज्ञान से होगा. अर्जुन के मन में ऑब्वियसली एट दैट टाइम द डाउट केम, आई एम ऑल्सो आस्किंग फॉर माई कल्याण, आई एम ऑल्सो आस्किंग फॉर माई हित, मेरे हित में मुझे क्या करना चाहिए. Then why is it that Bhagwan seems to be implying that you do karma? And this is where Arjun's Shishyatvam shows because the acharyas have commented that in the second verse, when he says Vyamishreneva iva, iva means as if. Vyamishreneva means confusing words. As if vakyena sentences, sorry, as if Krishna, you are talking in confused language. As if it is confusing. When you say as if you are sounding confusing versus you are confused. Oh Krishna, you are confused. You are telling me things in contradictory manner. एक तरफ आप ये कहते हो, एक तरफ आप ये कह रहे हो. That is one tone. That is one way of addressing one's non-understanding. What is that? If I have not understood the words clearly, normally to all of us would be the speaker hasn't been clear. So Arjun is likely saying, could have said that Krishna, you are confusing me. आप मुझे मोहित कर रहे हो and साफ साफ नहीं बोल रहे. आप साफ साफ बताओ. You are confused. Versus you could be right. You are right. आपने तो स्पष्ट ही कहा होगा मगर मेरी बुद्धि मंद है. One of the acharyas have used this word in his bhashyam. I think it's Madhusudana Saraswati ji who has used the word. Arjun feels uski buddhi mand hai. Mand buddhi means what? I have, certain times when your buddhi is not alert, you are uh, not in a thinking mode, you are a little too relaxed, laid back, sochna nahi hai. So, kind of a laziness in the thinking. So, mand buddhi means I am not alert to logically process, consciously process too many words and thinking. So, I have mand buddhi means मेरी समझ में थोड़ा अभी नहीं आ रहा है. So, what appears to be confusing, mohayasi iva. He again used the word iva. Again, saying that seemingly confusing me with these mixed up statements that you have made in the second chapter. Therefore, for giving me clarity, that I should get more clearer, tat ekam vada nishchitya, निश्चय करके, resolve it, decide it. उसके बाद एकम वद, tell me with certainty that what I should take, which path I should take, which marg I should follow, what choice I should take, that I will get Shreyaha. Shreyaha aham apnuyam. I will go to, I will come to Shreyas. I will receive, I will get Shreyaha aham apnuyam. So this was Arjun's question, to which Bhagwan has started answering from the third verse. What is the answer going to be? He starts first by saying, clarifying, explaining away. What is the difference between karma and karam yoga? There'll be a lot of general points that will come through these classes, next few classes. They're a little difficult to structurize because the context will bring up certain important siddhant, and they probably uh, convey a lot, but because they will be specific, it can be missed also if you are not following it. What he says now here is karma means, first and foremost, Shastra says, Shastra means from the Vedic outlook, Vedic view, keeping Vedas as a praman. Human beings have this specific, unique capacity to act, to do karma. ये बहुत यूनिक है to human embodiment, unique from all other species. The complexity with which karma can be done is because the human body has evolved, is a complex availability of sadhan. Like we say, our hands, our mind, our buddhi, our feet, our speech, our capacity to structurize, organize language, communication, all these are highly specialized skills that are possible in a human form. So, first drishti, this is a general point, as I said, there will be some general points which keep coming up. First drishti is Vedas look at human beings as very privileged species. ये बहुत भाग्य है to have a human body. You're privileged. Where lies the privilege? At three levels, broadly speaking. At the first level, the privilege is in your capacity to act. कर्म करने की शक्ति. कर्म करने की शक्ति. At the other level, it is to let the thinking be reasonably accurate through the means of causation. You can form the links in think. Causal links can be established correctly. Praman banta hai through Gyan Indriyas. So you can think reasonably. So there is a Karam karne ki shakti, there is a Gyan ki shakti. And the third unique thing is because of these Shaktis, capacity, Shakti means capacity. Because of these capacities, one can aspire for something extremely subtle in existence and also not sensorily tangible, which is your own nature. You can recognize it, you can understand it correctly, and not intellectually through thoughts, but you can identify it. You can place yourself outside of the realm of just the body and the thoughts. The conscious being that you express yourself as, in whose presence this Kriya Shakti and Gyan Shakti is operational, that conscious nature can be identified with. So these three things make humans very um, privileged. Therefore, the first thing Vedas encourage or correct in one's thinking is that karmas are to be done. Nobody has a choice. Very soon, Krishna is going to tell us. Karam na karna. कर्म को अवॉइड करना, कर्म करने की इच्छा ना होना, मन नहीं करना, लेजी होना, है ना, कर्म में मन नहीं लगना, avoid trying to do what you should do, bypass it, shortcut it. There are various excuses, ways in which we avoid because we see karma as a burden. कर्म करने में स्ट्रेन है, थकावट है, एफर्ट है, पुरुषार्थ है. So karam is always looked upon as averagely by people as effort, drudgery. So those who look to work also, they work because they see a reward. कुछ मिल रहा है इसलिए कर पा रहे हैं. Given a choice, I would like to live on a vacation for my entire life. I'd like to have a vacation my entire life. Let someone take the responsibility of my existence. Let someone take the responsibility of my as much as possible. आराम से जिए, खाएं पिए, मजे करें, etc. So karma is something that bothers us. So first thing that Shastra is going to tell us is कर्म करते रहने वाले को, जो कर्म कर रहा है, जो कर्म में लगा है, who's involved in performing karmas, Shastra can address such people. जो कर्म में मनी नहीं है, जो कर ही नहीं रहे, मतलब for they just don't, they think life is easy. For some people it may be, but even then, even if it is, you still have karma to do. In other words, nobody is exempted from performing their karmas. Now, this becomes a huge topic that one gets interested in to know. Karam karna is a mandate. Chalo, let us do. Karma has to be done. Let us say that. Karmas have to be done. But then if karmas have to be done, then karmas that themselves are the cause of perpetuation of a samsaric cycle. कर्म कर रहे हैं, हम कहते हैं ना, बिकॉज ऑफ कर्मा ओनली दैट यू आर रीबॉर्न, यू हैव एन एनवायरमेंट. कर्म फल भोगने के लिए ही तो कर्म कर रहे हैं, तो जन्म ले रहे हैं. सो देयर सीम्स टू बी अ साइक्लिकल म्यूचुअल फीडिंग. कर्म करना भी है और करो तो बंधते भी हो, और पुनरपि जननम भी होता है, एंड संसार भी होता है, और दुख भी आते हैं. सो if this is the cycle, then where is the relief? Am I making connection so far? So where is the relief? Because to us, the relief is in let's leave, or let's only do what I like to do, जिसमें मेरा मन लगता है. और मन कब तक लगता है, कितनी देर तक लगेगा, मन बदलता है. So it's not this 1 month I'll do this work, this year I will do this work, next year I'll do something else. How am I to choose what is to be done? How do I fulfill what I want? Because karmas is the means for that. So if karma is going to bind me, then what do I do with my desires? Do I fulfill them or don't fulfill them? So various aspects of karma start becoming important. So Shastra categorize them in contexts as they keep arising. One of the contexts, division, categorization of karma is sakam, nishkam. What is sakam karma? Most of us are involved in that. काम हम करते हैं मगर जिसमें हमारा लाभ है. सकाम, अपनी कामना को पूरा करने के लिए हिंदी में काम करते हैं, means I work to fulfill my desires. That is one karma. That's one kind of karma. Other karma is I act, sometimes I do, everyone does that, but not because I get something out of it, but I do it for its sake. Someone's benefiting from it. Someone gets the labh of my karma.
Actually, sorry, recording. Sorry, recording.
Oh boy. Thank you. How did I forget today? Ah,
Recording has started.
I should probably write here somewhere bada bada in front of me. Recording, recording,
Maybe put it in the calendar invite only. Please on recording.
recording. Even then it won't happen for me. Okay.
Sorry, I realized
No, no
creativity.
problem. It's my thing. I should have remembered. It's okay. We'll see what best can be done. So, uh, okay, fine. But now we've lost it. Okay, so Sakam and Nishkam. So Nishkam is when हम काम कुछ कर रहे हैं मगर ये समझ के कर रहे हैं कि इसका लाभ मुझे शायद पूरा मिले ना मिले आई डोंट नो बट इतना दिख रहा है कि इसका लाभ किसी को तो मिल रहा है very often very easy way to understand this is when people get doubt what is nishkam there are two examples based again on two different kinds of people one is if you're a parent when you try to do something for your child what is your bhav behind averagely
Love unconditional. Like no no conditions in it.
आपको पता है कि
Act of
इसमें
love.
एग्जैक्टली आप यू नो दैट दिस इज गोइंग टू बी फॉर द चाइल्ड उसके फ्यूचर के लिए उसकी खुशी के लिए उसकी जिंदगी के लिए यू नो एवरीथिंग कम्स यू आर सो एनर्जेटिक एंड दैट इज डेडिकेटेड टू द चाइल्ड दैट इज वन अधिकारी you can see the nishkamta of course it's not absolute example the child is yours therefore you can do that that is correct to that an extent the attachment is helping you but the direct beneficiary of your karma is not you because there are parents who would be not interested in the child's future at all because they are interested in their own self why should I work for you you work for yourself etc etc you can find such people also around so when your interest is आपको पता है आप काम कर्म कर रहे हो you know that this karma is going to be obviously for some reason will help someone help in the sense किसी का तो फायदा होगा लाभ होगा the second example which is more shastric is but it's when you have a religious mind the adhikari for that is when you have a religious mind when you do worship for the sake of worship जब आप एक्चुअली में पूजा करते हो निष्काम भाव आई वुड से is a maturity that comes मन का विकार है it comes only when you have been able to center your action on something someone whom you are not expecting any result back from and best is always to help us get this because in a human realm in relations there are always expectations functioning so that is how even a parent's example will fall short because up to a point you can do nishkam but if your child goes on taking you for granted and starts abusing your affection and starts exploiting your affection then at some point you will say okay bus you know that nishkama bhav will take a vikar but when this nishkam is centered on bhagwan in any form on something higher than yourself that you in your mind are able to accept and relate to. And when you are just worshipping anything, you know Bhagwan is not dependent on that. You know the whole world is only His, even you are a part of the same creation. And yet, you just for your sake finding yourself awake in the morning, you are thankful to the sun and the breeze and the water and the flora and the fauna around you, and you're just thankful for every life around you. That expression of affection to creator, in that sense, when you just maybe light a lamp, do whatever, puja in any form, or just remembering in any form, that karma, because the context here is karma, so we are bringing archana, puja into the picture. उसमें जो वो कर्म हो रहा है without asking anything back in return. If you see the sun, at this point it will be sunset, you see the sunset and you just do your namaskar to this huge ball of fire. It's just a mental namaskar. You know? Obviously, the sun is not receiving your namas. But your mind has moved away from taking it as granted that there will be a sunrise and a sunset every day for you. You are taking a moment of pause and appreciating what there really is around you. And out of that namaskar that you have done, you are already receiving so much from sun that there's nothing more sun can give you. You're already a receiver of that. So that namaskar, what category would it fall in? Sakam or Nishkam?
Nishkam.
Is that clear? Is
Yes,
it?
Krishna.
Because you're
Yes.
asking nothing for yourself back. वो होता है निष्काम कर्म. Karam is an action. Even if you do it in your mind, a thought, it's an action. Karam means there is a starting and there is an ending. कर्म का आरंभ होता है और कर्म का अंत होता है. दैट इज कॉल्ड कर्म. उसका कुछ साधन होता है, उसके कुछ मीन्स होते हैं. मीन्स if I do my mental namaskar, mentally I'm visualizing, even as a thought, the thought is my means. I've used it as a means to do a namaskar. That namaskar bhav is nishkam. So we have this category sakam and nishkam karma. बंधन किस कर्म में है?
जो डिजायर के साथ किया गया.
Which was sakam. Now I can do namaskar to Surya. Here in the context, if I see Surya as a life expression, life giving source of energy and light and heat, I depict a Bhagwan over there because it's far beyond an individual's capacity. If I do my namaskar there to visualizing a Surya Bhagwan, say, and I ask nothing back. But I can also do the namaskar and ask something back because I may want something and I can say, Bhagwan ho, aap to de hi sakte ho. It's like how a child will ask a parent. If a child wants something, who will child ask? His parent, her parent. Will not go to a neighbor's or a friend's child, a parent, and ask. Will ask your own parent. So if you want something, you will ask Bhagwan. Now, when in your karma you have associated a kamana purti, but the means for that kamana purti is a laukik. Here in this context, example, say Surya Bhagwan you have asked from. He's a laukik. A laukik means that devata that you have addressed. That devata is not a part of this physical existence. This physical existence. Therefore, that alaukik karam. What is the alaukik karam? My namaskar, my surya pranam, my arghyam, whatever way I have done my aditya radham, kuch bhi, whatever. There are many chants, many things people do. But that alaukik karma, I can also do it sakam drishti, and I can also do it nishkam drishti. So, what is the new category now? There is a sakam and a nishkam, and the same sakam and nishkam can be addressed to my actions in the world, which is laukik dunya, islok, ihalok, here in this world. I don't visualize anything on this world at all. Here itself, I am finding my cause and effect. I can do actions for my sake, or I can do paropkaraya. I can let my actions benefit someone else, not directly me, knowing fully well that the principle of action is it has if you are benefiting someone, nature will turn back and return it to you also. So you trust somewhere the karma has its own niyam, it has a law that works with it. So you are just working, but within this realm. Now there is no higher, all, no nothing, no Bhagwan involved, no God involved. So the same Laukik karma, I can do Sakam, I can do Nishkam. And the same Sakam and Nishkam, I can do Alaukik. Means I can have my Ishtadevta, I can do my chants, I can do, but Bhagwan, a deity, a Devata, is the center of my action. I am centering my action on that, offering it to that. Offering means I'm centering. अब नमस्कार मैंने किया, किसको offer किया? That is called offering. I'm doing a namaskar to Surya Bhagwan. किसको किया? There is an object of your action, no? That is called offering. You've offered your action. How have I offered the action? That namaskar is my offering because the object of my namaskar is the Bhagwan there. I see the physical sun and I know that's the physical body. Just as I see you and I see a physical body and I see that indweller of the physical body is not a physical being. That indweller is a conscious being. And when I do my namaskar to you, I am also doing my namaskar to that indweller in you. And if I have that knowledge that that indweller in you and that light principle in sun is the same, then my karma here also is nishkam, but it is alaukik. So you have a category of karmas. Vedas have prescribed endlessly, means there are lots of karmas. Endlessly is just a way of saying there are many karmas. Those karmas that Vedas have ascribed, described, or expecting you to do, centered on your duties of Varna and Ashrama based life, that is the structure of the Vedas, these all become Shruti karmas. Shrauta karma. Shrauta karma means Shruti has addressed those karmas. What are those karmas? Like Agnihotra, Yagnas, etc. He'll talk later again. And then there are the Smriti karmas. And the Smriti karmas means those that have described as human values. Human values uh, which will benefit others. Like we said, paropkaraya, punyaya. That is, they bring you punya. And parapedanam, papa. They'll give you papam if you cause hurt to others, injury to others. This is a broad category. No, I'll just take up that question. So It is a broad category. No, what was I saying? Uh,
When you do karmas, like sakarma, sakarma and nishkarma, that's what you were talking about.
so,
And
Ji?
lastly, you were talking about Shruti, Smriti. Smriti karmas have like Prokar.
Correct, correct. That was the
So
last
that's
sentence.
related
Right,
to
right.
that.
So, in the Smriti karmas or Shruti karmas, the point that second chapter Krishna was telling Arjuna is shift your drishti from sakam to nishkam. किसी प्रयोजन के लिए तो आप कर्म करोगे ही. देयर इज कर्म करने का तो मतलब ही ये है कि देयर विल बी एन ऑब्जेक्ट ऑफ योर एक्शन. किसी कुछ तो सामने होगा. देयर विल बी द्वैत. कर्म इज ऑल इन द्वैत. There is a starting and an ending. Therefore, there is a doer of an action and there is an object of a receiver of an action. Someone for whom the action is going to be centered on. If you are centering your action back on yourself, that action will bind you. But if you can see where it becomes a growth, why Shastra study is inner growth, if you abide in it, if you can shift your attention or your focus from making the action centered on you, center the action on someone else, something else. And if you can center the action on Ishvara himself, ईश्वर पे ही सेंटर करके कर्म करोगे तो वो कर्म योग ही बनेगा. If you are centering it on someone else, relatively it will give you some happiness, but there will be a sambandh with another finite thing. That sambandh that comes in karma with another finite thing will bring about a result of a sukh and a dukh again. Because that finite thing has their own prarabdha, has their own gati, has their own soch, has their own gunas, has their own likes and dislikes, has their own preferences, is their own being in them, their whole self. So even if you do a good karma, thinking good about the other, and benefit, you think you are doing a karma which is benefiting them, it may still be received. How it is received by them is not in your control. How they receive the karma is their prarabdha, their thinking, their, but how you have done your karma, that control you have. So Bhagwan is saying that this is an inward evolution of your own self, of a human being, where you find yourself in a human upadhi. Your further evolutionary process, what we call as spiritual growth, it is different from material growth. Material growth is where your karmas are ending to get artha and kama. उसमें भी आप बुद्धि इंप्लॉय करते हो, उसमें भी आप कर्म करते हो, उसमें भी फैकल्टी तो सेम है, शक्ति तो सेम है, कर्म करने की शक्ति है. Where did you direct that shakti? So if you direct it to gain more money, you get more money. If you direct it to gain more material assets, you acquire more material assets. If you direct it towards doing more social service, welfare of others, you get, you do welfare of others. So, where are you directing that Shakti, that capacity? When I say Shakti again, capacity to act. So, Excuse me. So here he says, Krishna says to Arjun, that karam se karam yog means sakam se nishkam. कर्म करना है, स्टार्टिंग वहां से है. If you are talking about someone who is absolutely not interested in work, I take the example in our older generations where there was a joint family system more popular. Not every member was an earning member. And there were more brothers and sisters in a family, so if there were five brothers staying together, then invariably there will be one or two brothers who were not working, but the supporting would be another one or two brothers income, which would support the family. And these other two brothers, one or two, they would do something else, etc., etc. But everybody was contributing with some capacity of their own self that they can in the running of their house, in the running of their home. Now, that everybody cannot do. But if they're not doing anything, kabhi one odd time you would have somebody who's just a totally laid back, कुछ नहीं करते, and the whole family is upset with that person. गुस्सा आता है उस पे क्योंकि वो कुछ करते ही नहीं है. They are just non-productive members of the household. They just are not inclined. They're too lazy because work is getting done around them. Shastra is saying whatever it is saying about Karam Yoga, it will be applicable to whom? To the person who's already supposing in karma and is working, even if they're doing a tough job, 9 to 5, 9 to 9, whatever, and bringing back something that is helping the members of the family run their family, keeping them in a comfortable position. So their earning is helping other members in the family. If that is the case, who is likely to adopt Karam Yoga faster, without resistance, and get better result? Is the question clear? One
One who's engaged in karma.
One who's engaged in karma. जो कर्म कर ही नहीं रहे हैं, उसको सीधा आप कर्म योग कह सकोगे क्या? निष्काम कर्म कर. उसने सकाम ही नहीं शुरू किया अभी तो, वो काम ही नहीं कर रहा है. Do you understand what I'm saying? Do you get the meaning? जो काम ही नहीं कर रहा, उसको आप सीधी सीढ़ी पे नहीं चढ़ा सकते टू से कि अब तू कर्म योग कर. So what would normally the elders in the family are very wise people there, so they would give them work which is more which would help them come towards becoming members. So attracting them with some gifts or something or the other, and luring them into doing something or the other first. Now, karam se karam yog is given to one who is active, जो कर्म में है, जो कर्म कर रहा है. Shastra says here, Bhagavad Gita, Krishna is telling Arjun, you, he said in the third verse, O Anagha. Anagha means one who has accrued no papam. Means you have been a nishkami purush. You have done karmas which have always benefited others. आपने पाप अनगा हो, आपने पाप किया ही नहीं है. Means parapीडनम के लिए, what is Duryodhan doing? What is Duryodhan doing all the time to Pandavas? Parapīdanam.
Unfair to them.
Yeah, that is parapīdanam. Causing them in some for his sake. That is sakam karma, which is bringing him a Sreyas. Means it is not going to benefit him at all in any way. He doesn't see that straight away when he's doing that. All he sees is he's getting some gratification by giving them pain, by putting difficulties in their life. He felt justified in his actions. And feeling justified in his actions, the course of action that he has taken, in that course of action, he's causing pain to other, he's causing difficulties to another, he's putting them into struggles. अपनी इच्छा पूर्ति के लिए वो दूसरे को दुख दे रहा है. इसको आप कहोगे कि तू कर्म योग कर? Did Krishna give the teaching to Duryodhan?
No,
No.
he didn't.
He's giving it to Arjun. Which means what? The one who's already, where is Shastra entering in one's life? जहां तुम्हें पकड़ लेगी अब वो वापस, you cannot turn back after that, is when you have already, by your own strife, striven for a dharmic life. In your own ways, any method it can be. People have done a lot of social service. People do, they, they get joy by helping others. They pick up higher causes and work for those causes. They're generally helping others. They find more joy in working, helping others, etc. When you have come to that point where you are naturally able to be generating actions, doing actions which help others, like Arjuna is now established in it. अपने धर्म पालन करके he has become a dharmic purush. Such a dharmic person can also have a fall, can also have a conflict, is what Shastra is telling us. Just because he's dharmic doesn't mean that dharma is going to take him to, is going to free him from all strife and struggle. अज्ञान जब तक कारण है तुम्हारा, तब तक you're not free. So अज्ञान कारण रहते हुए, besides the point, the fact that you have come to karma and you are now establishing yourself as a, what we call in the layman's term, a good human being with human values, a dharmic person, that you are righteous in your justice. He's a Kshatriya, so in his case, it's easy to take an example. Such a person, to him, Krishna is saying, in this world, there are two bhed. Once you've come to the point of dharma, being a dharmic person, idhar bhi, there'll be two stages in which you find people. अंदर की उनकी गति, उनका अधिकारित्वम दो जगह पे है. Means one who has come from karma to nishkam karma, sakam karma to nishkam karma, आसानी से कर लेता है आपको. And he's seen the joy of nishkam karam and he has experienced that nishkam karam में अपना कोई नुकसान नहीं होता है, अपनी कोई हानि नहीं होती है. If anything, अपना लाभ ही होता है. More लाभ than sakam would have ever brought. But that stage they only could cross when they grew out of their own sakamata. उनके अंदर भी थी वही. This nishkami purush, go backwards, was a sakami purush first. That sakami purush converted, changed himself, changed herself, and that conversion from sakam to nishkam meant he was, that's the sadhana, that's the tapas. He went through certain turmoil within his own self, doubts and everything. If I don't do for myself, what will happen? जो भी मन में संशय सबके आते हैं, उसके भी सकामी के सबके same thoughts होंगे. But now he has come to Nishkam. So this Nishkami Purush now is qualifying for what? Is he in the same category as the Sakami Purush? क्या ये दोनों सेम स्थान पे खड़े हैं जीवन में?
No, he's a step higher.
He is a step higher. He is a step different. And why higher? Because it is more freeing. That's why it is higher. It is enabling him to more shanti. That's why it is higher. So one,
It's not centered on him.
huh. So on one category of people जो कर्म में लगे हैं, कर्म योग तक उन्हें आना है. That is one category of people. इस कैटेगरी में कितने हैं? कौन होगा?
हम सब.
सब. Averagely everybody. So Bhagavad Gita will get addressed to everybody. But जो कर्म योग कर रहा है, कर चुका है. कर्म योग का फल क्या है? अब मैंने नमस्कार सूर्य भगवान को किया, मांगा कुछ भी नहीं. I'm just already in so much gratitude and awe. To me, sunrise and sunset is a fantastic opportunity. A cycle of day is a fantastic opportunity that you're blessed with for some purusharth, जो सिर्फ ह्यूमन फॉर्म में होता है. ऑलरेडी इन माई अंडरस्टैंडिंग आई एम थैंकफुल दैट आई हैव द डे. मैं इससे ज़्यादा क्या मांगू? अब मुझे तो मिल गया जो मुझे चाहिए. क्या चाहिए मुझे? ह्यूमन बर्थ चाहिए. वॉट एवर आई नीड फॉर परसुइंग, आई हैव इट ऑलरेडी. If I already have it, I'm asking nothing. I'm just doing my namaskar because I don't want to slip into taking things for granted, taking this natural availability for granted, taking my human birth for granted. I don't want to slip into it. So I am only doing my namaskar. Accumulate it every day, supposing, or as often as you can, as frequent as you can, um, depending on each one. That's why Vedas, I call them as designer path. Designer path means it's very specific to each one, as if designed exclusively for us, to our own capacity that one is doing it. Now, when you are doing it like going on, accumulating it, ये आपकी कुछ तो फल देगा ना, क्योंकि कर्म का तो नियम है कि वो फल देता है. कर्म बिना फल दिए तो रह नहीं सकता, और आपने उसको किसी फल से जोड़ा नहीं है, तो ऐसे कर्म को नित्य कर्म कहते हैं. और इस नित्य कर्म में फल आता है कि आपकी चित्त, your own mind, which at the level of sakam, can you go backwards and say what was your state of mind? How disturbed it would be at that stage? How anxious for fruits? How insecure? How ragadveshi? How riddled with jealousy, envy, anger, frustration? All that we call averagely as life. That was the state. उससे आपको शुद्धि मिलती है. It gets freer. आपको अब वो इम्पल्सेस इतने उस वेग से नहीं चढ़ते जैसे पहले चढ़ते थे. They don't erupt in you and overtake you completely. Your buddhi still remains available to you. However much the trigger be, your sense of right and wrong, dharma and adharma, correct and incorrect in an absolute sense also, good and bad, your buddhi doesn't get overpowered. Like in Arjun's case, it has got overpowered. चित्त शुद्धि का मतलब है कि your buddhi remains available to you. Which buddhi? He has said, Shankara said it in the past, the buddhi that you have acquired through Shastra, Guru, Adhyanam, that you have in your past that has given you the Vivek Shakti today, that remains available to you. And that Chitta Shuddhi, जिसकी हो गई है, मीन्स वो कर्म योग कर लिया है, चित्त शुद्ध अब उसकी है, उसका प्रमाण क्या है? व्हाट इज द वे टू नो दैट चित्त शुद्धि है? When they are by themselves, the mind is not running to sense pleasures. The mind is not running towards other things like it did in Sakam Avastha. It is able to reflect upon, it is able to question, it is able to think about the deeper, finer aspects of existence. And that is now another adhikari. अब वो अधिकारी डिफरेंट हो गया ना, जो कर्म योग में कर्म से कर्म योग तक आ रहा है। अब यही कर्म योगी जब निष्ठ हो गया, करते जाओगे तो निष्ठ ही होगे ना। इट्स लाइक सपोजिंग द फर्स्ट टाइम यू एवर मेड अ chapati. If we have remembered the first time we made a chapati, how interesting it was. Very interesting. I have a cousin sister, very naughty, uh, and her mother was very strict. So you had to have very fine, thin, and round chapatis and things like that. So she couldn't make them of a normal size. So she decided she's going to make them those button sized chapatis. Why? Because that's all she could roll. So she was intelligent. So she says, I will only roll this much. So when her mother said, what are you doing? She says, I'm making chapati. She says, what is this? This is not a chapati. She says, it is a chapati. To eat this, you have to put one on another together as if there's a new category of it. But to her mind, the first chapati that she made, what was that chapati? She's a great cook today who can so practiced that she doesn't even, I mean, she's in spontaneous, she can spontaneously cook. Are they the same people? When she couldn't make the first chapati, and now that she's an established cook, chef, now that she's a chef, is it the same person?
Yes, but evolved over time.
Uh-huh. Okay, you can say yes, but it means adhikari. Okay, let me refine the question. The same mandate can be told to her now what was given to her when she couldn't make a chapati. Will the same rules apply? तुम यही करो, तुम यही करो। अब तुम उसको ये कहोगे कि तुम चपाती बनाओ, ऐसे ही बनाओ? क्या अब उसको कह सकते हो? क्यों?
No.
बिकॉज अब उसको खुद को फ्रीडम है। शी नोज कितने टाइप की बना सकती है वो। शी इज गॉट फ्रीडम, शी इज नॉट लिमिटेड टू जस्ट दैट। अब उसको सिर्फ कोई नियम नहीं बांध सकता है। क्यों नहीं बांध सकता? बिकॉज शी इज गॉट फ्रीडम टू कुक एनीथिंग. She's mastered it. How did that mastery come?
Keep doing it again and again.
Practice.
Practicing.
By practicing. She's a master today because of practice. Now, once she has become a master, she creates her own rules. She has her own kitchen. She gives rules, she gives mandates to others because she has mastered it. So, the same rules do not apply. What was given to her as a novice, now the same rules are redundant for her because she's mastered them. Do you get this point? Now, that's exactly what Krishna is telling Arjuna. जिसने कर्म योग को मास्टरी कर ली है और उसकी मास्टरी का साइन क्या है? वो चित्त शुद्ध है। और उस चित्त शुद्ध की मास्टरी का साइन क्या है? अब वो कर्म से मुक्त है, is freed from the डिपेंडेंसी ऑफ कर्म फल, उसको अब जरूरत नहीं है कर्म कर्म फल की. It's become free. Yes, to us we may not be able to project it also because कर्म योग तक हम नहीं पहुंचे. So we are not able to project the freedom that that person is enjoying. But the one who has got established निष्ठा कर्म योग में बन गई उसकी, उसको अब कर्मों से मुक्ति है. They can do, they need not do, they do it anyway. The karma does not bind them. Karmas will not bind them now. ये अब किस चीज के अधिकारी हैं? मगर अज्ञान तो अभी भी है, जीव भाव अभी भी है. अब बिकॉज कर्म योग इन्वॉल्व ईश्वर, तो ईश्वर भाव भी तो है. और ये तो ड्युअलिटी है, प्लुरलिटी है. सो यू हैव द division functioning. I am separate from the totality. As long as that division is separate and you see yourself as a jiva, but ab karmo se you are no longer gaining anything because you've mastered karmas. To such a one, Krishna says they are a totally different adhikari. वो अब किस चीज के अधिकारी हैं? चित्त जिसका शुद्ध हो गया है, शम दम आदि षटक संपत्ति है. You have the wealth of these inner qualities in you. Your now to you Shastra will say, mandate to you is give up karmas and go to Gyan. Look for a guru who can teach you properly, systematically, who's ready to teach you in the first place. Look for someone. Shravanam karo, manan karo, nitidhyasan karo. ये अब direct CD है. There is nothing else after this. So those that are ready for knowledge, to assimilate the knowledge, because that assimilation of knowledge that they are ready for now has, they have earned that place in a way. It's like supposing when we work the whole young age 20 to 40, when we work, why? So that at a later period of time we don't have to work, isn't it? That's why young age is spending so much of their life so that they can save something, so that when they grow older, they don't, you cannot work, so you will have something to come back. Is that freedom from karma? जब मुझे कर्म नहीं करना पड़ेगा. Here Bhagwan is saying in these verses, and it is very essential clarification to anyone who has जिज्ञासा for this ज्ञान, genuinely अपना रास्ता ढूंढने की इच्छा है, जिसको श्रेयस ढूंढने की अंदर से इच्छा है. भगवान क्लैरिफाइज कि कर्म सकाम करने से अगर आप कमा भी लेते हो और अपने ओल्ड एज के लिए प्रिजर्व भी कर लिया है और सब, एंड आप अब आपको जरूरत नहीं है काम करने की, इसको निष्काम अवस्था नहीं कहते. क्यों नहीं कहते? काम तो आप अब भी नहीं कर रहे, बिकॉज चित्त शुद्धि अभी भी नहीं है. सो कर्म छोड़ना अधिकार नहीं है तुम्हारा तब तक जब तक चित्त शुद्धि नहीं है, क्योंकि चित्त शुद्धि सिर्फ कर्म से होती है. कर्मा इज अ प्योरिफायर. Highlight this as much as you can. It's like a most poignant statement, I would think, in the realms of world, people who live in the world with family and action. One of the most poignant statements is karma is, what did I say just now?
It creates your eligibility, so you cannot त्याग नहीं कर सकते हो आप जब तक आप. It's the greatest purifier.
Correct. It is the greatest purifier. Karma is a purifier. And Shastra says You are not eligible to give up karma. उसमें तुम्हारा हित, यू कैन गिव अप, चॉइस है, मर्जी है। आप कहो जी मुझे कर्म नहीं करना, अर्जुन कहे मुझे कर्म नहीं करना, मर्जी उसकी है, भगवान कांट इंटरफेयर विद दैट। बट क्या तुम्हारा हित है उसमें? कर्म छोड़ने में क्या तुम्हारा कल्याण होगा? क्या तुम्हें श्रेयस मिलेगा? इन एनी वे, even if you think that today, oh, I like leave my job, I do all this and I'll be a very happy relaxed person, then Deepti ji, I will come attend your class. If only I can give up work, I will be more regular in class. And Deepti ji will say, no, no, wait, if you're genuine about this, then first your karma should be converted to karam yoga, and whatever class you can attend, Deepti ji is happy with that. No problem, as long as you're following the Shastra. And what is the Shastra saying? Shastra is saying, कर्म से कर्म योग है, क्योंकि चित्त शुद्धि से ही ज्ञान में एंट्री आएगी आपकी. You cannot have, you cannot enter that door of knowledge. However much your चित्त may have words, आपकी प्रवृत्ति उसमें तभी हो पाएगी जब आपका चित्त शुद्ध है. और चित्त शुद्ध का एक ही मीन्स है. There is not many means. It's like saying if I have to sweep my floor, I have to wipe my floor, I have many disinfectants possible. Organic, inorganic, etc., etc., etc. I have many things with which I can clean the floor. But मन को साफ करने के लिए, that mala means राग द्वेष जो मन में है, and राग द्वेष से उत्पन्न जो अहंकार है, ईर्ष्या है, एक्सेट्रा एक्सेट्रा, देयर सो नेचुरली अपने आप उठती है. इसको साफ करने के लिए देयर इज ओनली वन क्लीनर, एंड दैट क्लीनर इज कर्मा. So do not make an error of judgment just because he's going to say this in the next few verses. All that I'm saying is from the next few verses. Never attempt at giving up karma because it is difficult to do. And that is what Arjun wanted to do. Ghor karam, he says. This is a ghor karam. Why are you asking me to do this ghor karam? If Arjun had understood that Bhagwan is saying, irrespective of what the nature of the karam is, you do it as karam योग, तो ही इस चित्त की शुद्धि तुम्हारी बनेगी. वही आज का तुम्हारे लिए यही श्रेयस है. Because unless and until you have the adhikar earned of giving up the realm of karma, you cannot take to sannyas. Karma sannyas. Sannyas means karma sannyas. Means I am now ready to spend my life with whatever means society provides me with. I am going to live my life within those means. I will not work for them. I will only work to benefit the society. Sannyas is a vow in itself. उसमें भी कर्म free नहीं है. It's not that you have no work to do at all. But in the sannyas means that karma sannyas means specially Vedic karma sannyas that was followers of needed for chitta shuddhi that they employed before, you cannot do anymore. Whatever needs to be done, upasanas can be done. They are also a form of karmas. Whatever chitta shuddhi you still require going on, you can still be engaged in it. But the point is, this adhikari word keeps coming again and again in the bhashyams. The point is, Bhagwan is saying, have you earned the eligibility of sitting without doing karma? क्या आपने वो कमा लिया है? एंड वो कमाई क्या है? आपकी शुद्धि है, चित्त की शुद्धि है. If your चित्त is शुद्ध, will you have the question, should I do this or not?
No.
No. That is a sign. The fact that Arjun is collapsing, this, he is not ready for knowledge. Therefore, I mean, it's fascinating to know how wise is this literature, how wise is the, why do we call Krishna Bhagwan, Vyasa Bhagwan, Shankara Bhagwan? As you go more and more, you realize it's the most useful, caring advice a struggler can get, who struggles for higher, because everybody has the nature to take shortcut. What is Arjun wanting to take? Shortcut. Avoid this घोर कर्म. संन्यास ले लो आराम से. जो कहोगे भगवान कितनी माला बोलोगे वो करूंगा, जो बोलोगे रोज जाके गंगा स्नान करूंगा, रोज मंदिर जाऊंगा, रोज परिक्रमा करूंगा, जो कहोगे सब करूंगा, पूरा दिन करूंगा भगवान, ये घोर कर्म नहीं करूंगा. बिकॉज उसमें दुख का अनुभव हो रहा है. What, as I said in the first chapter also, what Arjun cannot see is कि वो कर्म त्यागने का अधिकारी अभी है ही नहीं. उसकी प्रवृत्ति ऐसी है कि वो कर्म में ही रहेगा. So even if he takes today, by whatever emotional reason, he says, okay, I will not do karma and I will take sannyas, he will not remain committed to sannyas. इसको कहेंगे योग भ्रष्ट. Yoga bhrasht means your sadhana could not complete. Before that, you fell. Before the sadhana could bring about a mature reason, a maturity, you fell off. That is yoga bhrasht. So, yoga bhrasht will become, Arjun will become, na idhar ka rahega, na udhar ka rahega. He will neither be able to return back to the realm of karma. In sannyas, he'll have a lot of difficulty and struggle because his mind will only still have anger for Pandava, for Kauravas. His mind will, he's not grown out of those emotions. So he says, Krishna, now these are two different adhikaris, not as in two different people alone. वो तो है ही है, अलग अलग अवस्था में, अलग अलग स्टेजेस में हैं लोग. कुछ लोग, बहुत कम लोग होंगे जो कर्मयोग कर चुके हैं, उनको ज्ञान निष्ठा की एडवाइस दी जाएगी. उनको कर्मयोग यूजफुल नहीं है. Why will you sit if you're ready for PhD? Why will you sit in the 12th class board exam? Will you sit? Even if you have done graduation, will you say, no, 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 I like my school. I am going to go back to my school. I will go apply for my 12th. But I really like that teacher. I am not going to go to the college. I'm going to stay in my school. Can you do that? No. If you're qualified for PhD, you cannot return back to, you have cleared your 12th. That is why you're applying for postgraduate and doctorate. In the same way, there will be this who are kamis, means sakamis. इनको फर्स्ट एडवाइस दी जाएगी, कर्म योग करो. But Shastra cannot be complete if it doesn't give us the full picture, because मैं ही हूं जो कर्म योग करके निष्ठा कर्म योगी बनूंगी. कर्म निष्ठा आएगी, और जब कर्म योगी की निष्ठा आएगी, जब वो निष्ठा आएगी तो मैं ही पूछूंगी अब मैं क्या करूं, क्योंकि अब कर्म से तो मुझे मुक्ति मिल गई है, कर्म से तो मुझे फ्रीडम मिल गई है. बट अभी भी वो जो शांति है, वो जो सुख है, ना, वो जो, वो अभी भी मिसिंग है. Something is missing. So I need to, then Bhagwan says, now is the time, go for Atmagyan. किसको कहा ये? किसको कहा?
जिसने कर्म पर निष्ठा पा ली.
जिसने कर्म पर निष्ठा, कर्म योग में निष्ठा पा ली. जिसने कर्म योग की निष्ठा पाली, उसको कहा, अब उसने खुद पूछा इसलिए कहा, Shastra will, in fact, if you do not come to Shastra, Shastra doesn't come to you. You don't find signboards, okay, do this, do this. It's not like any other religion. You came to Shastra because you had some inner quest, you had some inner question, you had some inner struggle, you needed guidance. In your mind, you thought you wanted some direction. So, Shastra is giving us direction. What is that direction? Identify your own self. If you have ragadvesh, and Shastra tells us clearly, kahan kahan rag dvesh nikalta hai. Everywhere our rag dvesh comes out. And that is why, as I said, Shankara says, जब राग द्वेष बहुत strong होता है, and even if you will have राग द्वेष on your teacher also, वहां भी निकलता है. मतलब इतना राग द्वेष strong है. So what is advice given? Do कर्म योग. But यही जब कर्म योग में निष्ठ पकड़ेगा, what is the advice given? Do ज्ञान योग. श्रवणम मननम निधिध्यासन, ये तुम्हारा साधन होगा. This is going to be your means now. It's a different way to live a life. You will adopt a different life. Style is the word, but it's not really a lifestyle. It's a different expression of life. That's the way you will choose to live your life. So, between these two adhikaris, Bhagwan says in the third verse, Loke asmin dvividha nishtha. In this world, these are the twofold nishthas. Which two nishthas? From karma to karam yog. Karam yog mein nisht ho jao, establish ho jao. You should be a natural karam yogi, in other words. That is one nishtha, means that is one path. That is one effort. From sakam to nishkam, karam yogi mein sthit. I am a karam yogi. What is the other nishtha? From Shravanam, Mananam, Nididhyasnam, Gyan, Gyana Nishtha. What was the Gyana Nisht Purushaha in second chapter called?
Sthitha Pragnya.
Sthitha Pragnya, correct. वो जो श्रवण मनन निधिध्यासन करेगा, अब वो स्थित प्रज्ञा हो जाएगा, and that Sthitha Pragnya is equivalent to moksha at that final stage where he described what is his thing. So, Dvividhanishta, this twofold, they are not two available as a choice, like one of the acharyas have brought it up. They are not as a choice कि मैं कर्म योग कर लूं या ज्ञान योग कर लूं. And this is a very fine learning. Most people will, even those who are sincere in Vedantic study, they miss this because what are you missing? You're missing the teaching. What is the teaching? The teaching is कर्म योग का अधिकारी अलग है, means अलग stage of yourself है, और ज्ञान योग का अधिकारी लेटर आता है. आप बनते हो ज्ञान योग के अधिकारी, बीच में आता है चित्त शुद्धि, जो कर्म के थ्रू ही आ सकती है. कर्म एंड उपासना, there is no other way. There is just no other way, period. और कोई मार्ग और कोई साधन नहीं है आपकी उपाधि में, ह्यूमन उपाधि में, जिससे आपकी चित्त शुद्धि हो सकती है. कर्मा इज योर प्योरिफायर. So he says, these are the two nishthas pura prokta. I have said them from the beginning. Pura is before. But different acharyas, very fascinating it is how that pura word they've commented differently. Shankara gives here the meaning of pura as in purvam, sarg adau prajaha. Pura is purvam, sarg adau Sargado means from the beginning of time. Prajaha Srishtva, when the creation came, when all these beings came, when creation came. Since then, I have laid out these two parts. But Madhusudana Saraswati gives Pura meaning as previous chapter, in the second chapter. He says Pura is Purva Adhyaya. In the second chapter, what I have mentioned as twofold, which is more directly related. Shankara gives this meaning of Pura relating it to the fourth chapter, because in fourth chapter, again, he is going to say, I started this parampara from Vivaswan, and he'll give the whole lineage right from the beginning, that I am the layer of this, I have laid down. Here also he will say, Avish Kurvata. आविश कुर्वता मीन्स मैंने ही इसका आविष्कार किया है, means I am the one who is the creator of this twofold paths, which is twofold but not two different, two stages of the same path. O Mayanagha, for the Sankhyas means now for those who have established in Karam Nishtha, Karam Yoga Nishtha, and have Chitta Shuddhi and are now doing Shravanam Mananam Nididhyasana, they are Sankhyas, Samyak Darshanam jisko chahiye, total clarity of their own being जिसको चाहिए, जिनको जानना है, जो जानना चाहते हैं उनके लिए ज्ञान योग है, और जो अभी करना चाह रहे हैं, करने में हैं, उनके लिए कर्म योग है. These are the two folds that I have put from the very beginning. There is still a little, quite a lot, of course. These are the beginning, and there's a lot, and like I said in the beginning of the class, there will be so many layers of information, uh, interesting, interest, not in, information, knowledge that is directing a human effort. So we'll continue tomorrow. Is that okay? Clear so far?
So basically, people like us, right, who are doing and getting knowledge. So when we are getting the knowledge, right, we are getting qualified more and more so that the knowledge gets retained.
Huh, correct. Now that is what point we'll probably touch upon. Now, based on this karma and uh, yoga, gyan, now there are various opinions, schools, you may call them, thinking available कि हम दोनों को साथ करें, कि एक को पहले करना है, दूसरे को बाद में करना है, कि एक को ही करना है. These are options that can come with, if these are twofold paths, then as one, what am I to do? Am I to do one and leave the other, or what am I to do? So the best thing, while the Shravanam of Vedanta is going on, Nishtha एक ही में रहेगी. That Nishtha is, one chooses for oneself. If I think I need Karam Yoga, then my Nishtha remains in that, and the Gyan is helping me to get convinced. At this point, most of us are not even convinced about the path. What is it that I'm doing? हम वेदांत पढ़ ही क्यों रहे हैं, हम वेदांत अटेंड ही क्यों करते हैं, हमको वेदांत से चाहिए क्या, हम none of, many will not be very clear. Maybe over the time we have now become clear, but in the beginning many people are not clear about why Vedant in their life. So when you're listening to Vedant in the early stages, it gives more clarity to why am I doing what I am doing in the world and how I should make it different. So निष्ठा कर्म योग की ही रहेगी, but then श्रवणम के stage में आते आते there could be some people who are just now totally into ज्ञान मार्ग also. Is that clear?
Jiri.
So that is where that samuchaya word had come. A whole thinker, unfortunately or fortunately for us, that entire uh, material availability of Bodhayana Vrittikar, where uh, he proposes that Gita is Samuchayavad, everybody should do Gyan and Karma together, and he gives reasons for it. That entire thing is lost. It's not available to us at all. So, what he wrote, we do not know his contention. But from Shankara's contention, we know that he said there is a Samuchaya. But Shankara doesn't explain it more beyond the point of what he's refuting. And he's refuting it to say that it is these stages, what we have just said today, is Shankara's matam. Karam Yog, Chitta Shuddhi, Shravana Manam Nididhyasan, Jnana Yog, Jnana Nishtha, Sthitha Pragnya, Moksha. And different words will be used in the same, but this is your inner growth and journey. And around this, people make their life choices, whatever is needed at that time. So that topic is separate. Samuchay is not Shankara's vision. Uh, he, in fact, gives reasons, and those reasons are very, very uh, evidently clear. For example, what we have already done for karma, even karm योग, you have to be a karta. कर्ता का आप अपने आत्मा पे अध्यारोपण करते हो. I am a karta. You have a sense of doership. Gyan is atma is a karta. So they will contradict each other if you are going to do both of them. So they'll self cancel. On one hand, you are doing karma with an idea that I am the doer, and Gyan will say you are not the doer. Karma will give you anitya phalam, Gyan will give you nitya phalam. They will cancel each other. They can't go together. Therefore, Shankara's reason is you cannot have them together. But you will have to go in this chronology, sequence. Krama Samuchaya is accepted, Sama Samuchaya is not accepted. And Bodhayana Vrittikara said Sama Samuchaya, do them together, as we touched in the last class. Okay. Uh, Nishkam karma done in or for the world lesser than the Nishkam done for the Lord or a deity? You would have got the answer, I think. I touched upon it. That for the world, when it is done, there will be some limitation. It will not be as pure as for the done for Ishvara. Seeing Ishvara in the world, you can do your Karam Yoga, which means in the supposing I'm a family member and I'm working for my family's interest. I like Arjun. I don't say my family, but I see Bhagwan in my family. Say I'm superimposing that this individual is also another form of life expression who's also getting the same nourishment from the same consciousness, the same source. So when you convert it, bring Ishvara into your relation, then no longer it remains worldly. It becomes alaukik. Okay, Bhavna?
Hari Om Deepti ji.
Hari Om.
So is Nishkam Karma essentially what differentiates Karam from Karam Yoga, or is there more to it?
Nishkam Karam is, essentially differentiates, but Karam Yoga will now have aspects. How do you do Nishkam Karam? That's where they bring in Ishwar Arpanam, Prasad Buddhi as their components. So Nishkam means only without desire. But that without desire seems to be like so as I just said today, you can only say, okay, not self-interest. That's all I can say. Let my self-interest be included in the larger cause indirectly, but not directly working for self-interest. But Karam Yoga will then be Arpan Buddhi, Prasad Buddhi. Those ingredients will convert the karma from Sakam to Nishkam. So, in other words, what makes it Nishkam? How will I say this is Nishkam? So, like I said, the example of Surya, if my namaskar is centered on Surya Devta, now there is an Ishwar that has come in between my action, to whom this action is now centered on. And I'm not asking anything back. This karma done will now be Nishkam, and the fruit will be Chitta Shuddhi.
Dikti this teaching that he's telling Arjuna, the Arjuna is supposed to follow it, or the whole Pandava, everyone has to follow.
It is universal teaching, but everybody didn't have a jignasa for it. Everybody doesn't have jignasa for self growth. So only those who will have jignasa will have receptivity to adopt it. It is universal, it's applicable to everyone. That's why it's a shastra. Shastra is not specific and individualistic. शास्त्र को नाम ही शास्त्र तब दिया जाता है when you know it is universal in its application. It's like science, like one of the first classes we did in Tattvabodh. Science is not individualistic. Okay?
Ji.
Anything else? Or we can end. So let me end the class. Om Sarvesham Swastir Bhavatu Sarvesham Shantir Bhavatu Sarvesham Purnam Bhavatu Sarvesham Mangalam Bhavatu Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah Sarve Santu Niramayaha Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kaschit Dukha Bhag Bhave. Om Swasti Prajabhya Paripalayantam Nyayena Margena Mahim Mahishaha Gobrahmanebhyah Shubhamastu Nityam Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu Kale Varshatu Parjanyah Prithvi Sasya Shalini Deshoyam Kshobarahitah Brahmana Santu Nirbhayaha Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
Recording has stopped.
So thank you everyone. Namaskar.
Thank you, Deepti ji. Hari Om.
Hari Om.